Hey, quick little adventure today. I am on the river for the first time in my boat this season. I don't know what we're going to call it. I guess we ought to get a name on this thing. I don't know if we can call it a Chig rig since that's what we call my truck. But what we're going to do today is I wanted to try out my boat, make sure everything's running okay. So far so good, but I brought the metal detector with me. And I thought we'd do just a little bit of detecting it, along this river here. Now this place has been hit a million times. I've been here probably half of those times. Found a lot of stuff over the years, but it's getting pretty scarce. But I'm hoping we can get 1 or 2 Civil War items today. Maybe even a nice coin. The river's actually not that bad on right here. When it was deeper, it's very green. You can't see down very far, but this is going to be pretty good. What we're going to do is we're going to scoot down river, maybe about a half a mile or so, and kind of work our way back up. That way the water stays clear, because if you work downstream, you muddy it up when you're digging and walking and just moving around. So I always like to go downstream and work my way back up. So what do you say? Quick little spin along the bank, and then we'll jump out and find ourselves a cannonball. I don't think it is. Every rock looks like a cannonball when you're up here, but once you move to the other side of it, you can usually tell it's not perfectly round. All right, what do you say? Let's get to it. See how when it gets a little bit deeper, it starts to cloud up. Oh, one other thing, guys. I'm being a little bit reckless when I go underneath the trees like this. Not because I'm worried about hitting a snag, but be very careful if you're in a boat or even a kayak, because when fishermen are out here and they cast and they get caught up in a tree, a lot of times the line will break because it gets wrapped around a branch, and the hook or the lure will be hanging down. It might even be in the water. So when you go by and you hit that string and it catches across your shoulder or something like that, that hook or that lure can come up out of the water and snag you right in the face. So always be looking for fishing line as you're going under. I always do. And if I think there's any, I won't go near the place. There's a chair if you need it. Man, this place is a mess. Look at some beer bottles, lots of cans. I don't know what that is. Those are all modern, of course. See some freshwater clams, lots of little minnows. One thing I'm always looking for, you see how that tire is like up in the mud, is that, and here's a 55 for a smaller drum. That's probably like a 35-gallon drum that's metal, that's rotted away. You see another one up in the bank. So I always hope that, after a good season or winter of flooding, that some of this stuff gets moved around, and that, the currents of the trees move things and digs into the bank a little bit. So sometimes you can get a few extra items that you can't normally hear. No floods this year at all, though. We had one that was like minor over the winter, so I'm not real hopeful, but you never know. Hey, I got a new loop we're going to try out here today. I'll show that to you, though. It's bigger than the one I normally use, so I might be able to get a little more depth than I was before. Okay, I think we're far enough down. It's really muddy. I don't see any areas that have been washed out. The water's chilly. Still pretty, like I said, this is my first day on the river this season. Well, I was on a little creek earlier, but not in the boat and not this deep. Let me get my stuff out of here. We'll get geared up, and we'll just start working our way upstream. So I just got started and worked about 10 feet upstream. Got a big iron signal. I went ahead and dug it because it didn't really sound like an artillery shell, but it was big. But yeah, this is my first target. Is a big plate, steel plate. This is probably from a railroad track. I had a little kind of squeaky, skippy noise here, and had to get like completely wet to get it, except for my head, which I wish I hadn't, because it's not near as warm as I thought it was out here. And unfortunately, it's just a pull tab, but it was, it was buried down there a ways. So this was a target that I missed over the years, and so did everyone else. And that could have been a button. I mean, Civil War buttons sound very similar to these. So there's some hope yet today. We got some good spots to check. I mean, boy, I tell you. If I was going to be a bullet, that's right where I'd be laying, right there by that stump. Right about here is where I found that pull tab, and I went up to a couple feet to that rock ledge, and let's just take a quick peek at that. I want to tell you something about it. So you see how there was like a ledge there and there's like a little cave going back in there. What happens is when the current's coming down, especially when it's flooded, if anything's moving along, bouncing along, it gets sucked back into that little cave where there's a low pressure system. I just found a little like rivet thingy, which could easily be a Civil War vintage. I mean, it's got a nice patina on it, so that's telling me it probably washed out of the bank up here somewhere close by. I cannot promise you Civil War era, but it's old. And it's right there where that little key thing was, and just by that pull tab. It was kind of similar to that pull tab signal. Not great, but it was something I wanted to dig, because we dig all the squeaks in here and all the bigger iron. I found several muskets along here. I have a friend that when he was detecting here, this was back in like the 80s, probably late 80s. I mean, he was here with a friend going right along this bank actually. And his friend was using metal. They were trading, you know, trading signals. They only had one metal detector. His friend was going along looking. My buddy just like, oh man, I wish you'd hurry up and find something so I can do it. He says he looked down and there was a musket, Civil War musket, just laying right across the bottom, just like that. And it was a beautiful musket. And the thing is, about 20 years later, I found another one, probably not 50 feet from where he found his, but it was up against the bank. And one of these like log jams here had washed away, so you could see it. In fact, I got it on video. All right, let's get back at it. I'm not going to say that's a Civil War relic and we're not skunked, but I'm feeling pretty good about this hunt so far. I've only been here about 15 minutes. Just dug this beautiful ketchup packet. It was actually down about 6 inches in the mud. Actually sounded pretty good, man. I was hoping it was going to be a bullet, but it's not. It's just slightly used ketchup package. And just a few feet from the ketchup package, I just dug this. I was hoping it was going to be some type of weird, like, carved bullet, but obviously that's a sinker of some sort. It looks like it's probably made in a mold, you know, like a homemade mold. Oh, really happy, though. I mean, we're getting these signals. You know, nothing super good yet, but I was not expecting to get that many signals here today, considering we haven't been here long. We've moved very far. Oh, yeah, let me show you this loop. I'm using the Viper, the Garrett AT Viper loop, and that might be a little bit advantageous here because I've always used the 5x8 coil, which is a much smaller coil. I don't use the stock coil because stock coil is too big in the water for me, because it's just hard to move back and forth through the water when you're swinging. This seems to work pretty good. This is the second time I've used it in the water, and well, we're finding target, so I'm happy with that. So it might be a little better than just the 5x8. So I just dug a shotgun shell, which I should never have missed. Oh, we're officially not skunked. Whew, that was close, wasn't it? Well, not far from where I found a musket ball. Just dug a spinner bait. This is a brassy lure, so it sounded good. I mean, so we're still finding plenty of targets, just not too many Civil War era ones. Just one so far. Well, since I've really talked to you, it's probably been an hour going along, digging a lot of fishing sinkers. I just dug this little ball. I thought it might be split shot, but I think it might actually be like a little pistol ball or maybe a piece of buckshot that's fired. Looks like it has a little mold mark there, and there's no way to attach a line to it, so I'm going to call that a relic. So far, I'm finding a ton of sinkers, which really surprises me, but unfortunately, no bullets. Mostly just small sinkers too, so maybe the big targets are already taken. I'm just getting a little baby split shot. Oh well. So I had a signal down there and I was like staring at it and I couldn't figure out what it was. I didn't know if I want to pick it up because it's getting cold. But looky, somebody's keychain with a whole bunch of keys on it. Ah, the wind is raw. Give me the goosebumps in it. Making my arms purple. Yeah, I couldn't figure out what that thing was, but well, we know now. I just dug what looks to be a flattened ball, maybe a musket ball, could be a mini, I'm not sure, but it's been a hard impact, nice and flattened out. I finally found a nice little brassy thing. That's like a suspender clip, buckle for well, suspenders, or as you would say over in the UK, braces. That's awesome, dude. That could very easily be from the Civil War too. Awesome. Well, I might have found a bullet or a sinker. I'm thinking it's a bullet now. I have not. I can only see it from up here. And I'm going to put you under and let you look first. Oh, it's a bullet. I just saw it. awesome. Man, that is like a perfect American Civil War mini ball. Look at that. That thing is gorgeous. Look at all those grooves are cut in there. A little bit of a mold seam. An almost perfect bullet. I think what happened is it's coming out of this bank right here. That's absolutely awesome. Hopefully there's some more down there. Maybe even a belt buckle. I'm getting a nice solid thump right there. I suspect that's going to be a good one. It's in the mud, so let's go under and see what we can see. And that's another awesome one right there. Ah, nice little spill. Hopefully we'll get a few more before we leave. Did you see any more under there? Did ya? Well, actually, I can just listen real quick. I'm all tangled up here. Give me a few minutes. All right, I'm untangled, and there's definitely some more stuff in there. I can hear something right there. So I'm suspecting there might be one or two. There's at least one. There might be a couple more than that in there. Let's go back under and look. Hopefully it's not too cloudy for you. Pinpointer out. We'll get it with a pinpointer. Definitely have another beautiful little mini ball right there, and there might be some more in that mud. I couldn't tell if that was the pinpoint was going off, but it might just be the mineralization. I'm not hearing any good thumps. All right, I'm going to get back to looking around. I am going to dig that out just a little bit where that pinpoint was going off, but I think it was just a clay. This is one of the weirdest things I've ever found. It's really strange. And this is a giant lead spike. I've never seen anything like it, and I have no idea what that would be good for. I mean, it's very soft. You can see I can just bend it with my fingers like that. Giant lead spike. That's awesome. That's really, really, really cool. Huh. If you have any idea what that could have been used for, let me know. I just don't have a clue. I mean, you couldn't drive it into anything but maybe a pound cake or something. And I don't know if they had pound cakes during the Civil War, did they? They probably did. Right there's where I got that pound cake spike. And I got a nice solid signal right there. I suspect that's going to be a bullet, probably. Let's go on there and look. That's another beauty right there. Very nice. I tell you, it started out slow, but it's ending up pretty good, isn't it? Well, we don't have too much longer on the river. The sun's getting a little bit low, and we got a long way to go before we get home. Just dug a nice 69 caliber musket ball. There. We'll look around and see if there's any more. We got another, at least half an hour or so, but we do have to watch the sun. So I got a signal right there, and I think that might be a musket ball just laying right on the rock. I kind of waved it with my hand, but I can't believe that signal's still there. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I mean, it might be a pistol ball, but I was laying right on top of that rock, right in that little tiny crevice. Huh. Can't believe we missed that. Well, of course, we missed quite a bit, didn't we? In the past years. Well, just dug another bullet. I believe this one's probably fired. Well, it looks like we have one final musket ball that's been fired. I'm going to look just a few more minutes, but not too much longer. I actually found this under a trash bag. If I don't find anything else, I guess I'll say adios. And if I find something else, I guess you won't see me saying adios right now. Adios.
And bury it in the sand and keep it for eternity. Mother Earth, she's got her secrets she's promised to keep, hidden in her dirt or deep in her creek. Mother Earth, she ain't saying exactly what she's saving, where it is